Hey everybody, it's your old pal Brian Hunt. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds of Risk. And today we're going to be talking about a risk that a lot of people take and few do. And that's the risk of starting your own firm or buying a firm. And as a result, I want to have my friend Steven Paul Matsumoto come on and talk about what was his desire to start and buy a liquor store.
Exactly.
So Steven, tell us about that. What was the desire and interest to start or buy your own firm?
Sure. So my friend Adam and I were looking for recession-proof investments.
Okay.
We all know the stock market is in one of its down cycles.
Sure.
And so we decided to pull some money out of the stock market and redeploy that into a cash flowing asset.
Very good.
We were looking at a couple of different industries. We had looked at coin-operated laundries. We had looked at ATM routes. And then a friend of a friend told me about this liquor store.
Okay.
It was a fire sale. It was a distressed asset. The previous owner had some personal things that prevented them from continuing to move forward with the store. But the historical revenue on the store was strong enough, and even though it was showing a net operating loss, with my background in banking and finance and Adam's background in banking and finance, and then I've got a background in inventory management,
Okay.
we felt we could turn the store around if we got it for the right price.
So you did the due diligence, you went through the financials,
Correct.
and you're going into the industry for which you actually understand, at least have some background in, rather than just picking something out of the air.
Exactly. So it's like, everyone always asks me, because I've been in a lot of different industries. I've been in marketing, I've been in the fashion industry, I was in the automotive industry, and everyone's like, well, how do you move from industry to industry? I'm like, at the end of the day, it's about finding a widget and then finding a buyer for that widget.
Yeah.
So it's about people and it's about process. Product is interchangeable.
Good.
Whether it's me being a banker selling money or me being a liquor store owner and selling Crown Royal.
Right.
Crown Royal is not an official sponsor of this.
That is correct. No one's sponsoring this episode. So to the point then, so you pulled the trigger, you deployed your capital, you bought the asset.
Correct.
What were some of the things or assets or services you need in order to get sort of the deal done?
So the deal was pretty straightforward because we did what was called an asset-only purchase. So we only purchased the assets. So
Not the
the
liabilities.
equipment, the inventory, the trade name, the trademark, any of the brand elements.
Okay.
We have a legacy point of sale system that didn't meet my standards from an inventory management standpoint.
Got it.
So first thing we did was, okay, is there a liquor store specific point of sale system? And we did find one.
Okay.
That's going to help us manage our inventory better, help us know what our top sellers are,
Yeah.
so that when we work with our suppliers, and it even connects with many of our suppliers through an electronic data interface, so that we can just push our order automatically to the supplier and improve efficiencies.
Sure.
So it's all about process, as Marcus Lemonis would say.
And as I came here to talk to you, like I was walking, you were talking to a general contractor, so you're going to be making some improvements in this facility as well.
We are. It's like, so our vision for the brand is to turn it into kind of a Starbucks style environment. So
Okay.
Starbucks had a concept called the third place.
Okay.
So the vision of Howard Schultz was, you have three places in your life: home, work, Starbucks.
Good point.
So while we are not allowed to serve, what we want to do is we want to create an environment that makes you feel like you're in a cask room at a distillery,
Okay.
or in a barrel room at a winery.
Yeah.
And then bring in our suppliers to do tastings and educational classes. As the kids said, we're going to bouge it up.
Bouge it up. That's a good way to put it towards a boutique sort of environment.
Correct.
Rather than just mass volume in sales.
Because unfortunately, we are not going to be able to compete on price
Okay.
with places like Specs,
Yeah.
Total Wine,
No.
Bevmo.
Yeah.
We just don't have the volume right now.
No.
And so we've got to find ways of adding value to the consumer that make them willing to pay a little bit more.
Sure.
Because Total Wine is selling things for what it costs us to buy them,
Yeah.
just based off of their volume.
Good. So now you've been doing it, you're up and running. What have been some of the sort of surprises or things that you didn't anticipate you had to deal with?
I didn't realize I was going to have multiple sales reps at each of my distributors.
Okay. And that's a good point.
But it's like, it makes sense
Yeah.
because, you know, the Crown rep, the Crown Royal factory
Yeah.
doesn't want, Potter's Crown's reps selling their goods.
Okay.
So there's some competitiveness, and of course there's always ego involved in the industry.
Yeah.
Same like the Tito's rep doesn't want the Smirnoff rep selling their stuff.
Got it.
So it took me a bit to adjust to that, but they all have their individual product knowledge on the brand's portfolio that they represent.
Yeah.
And so they bring more to the table than someone's just like an order taker. So
Good.
they actually bring value to the conversation.
So if somebody's out there thinking about starting their business or buying a business, what would you say is the one to two critical things they need to have locked down?
First, have your capital dialed in beforehand. I can tell you as a business banker, unless you are buying a business that is in an industry that you have experience in, most banks are not going to lend to you, unfortunately.
Good point.
So this was a cash purchase. It's like we literally wrote a check
Okay.
or wired the money, or
Yeah.
because it was a large sum.
Sure.
So have your capital in place. There's that old adage: get your credit when you don't need it, because
Right.
when you need it, you're
You're
not
gonna
going to get it.
No, exactly.
Take your time. Don't rush.
Okay.
Now, I say that we kind of rushed into this. It took 2 weeks for us to close this deal.
Okay.
But we had looked at enough other deals and so our due diligence process had gotten refined to the point where we could look at 3 years worth of financials and go off of, okay, based off of our experience, are we able to do this? And at the end of the day, this was what it was. It was a fire sale.
Yeah.
We did not pay a lot for this business.
Okay.
So if you take your time, those value opportunities will often come about. Because if you're buying a healthy business, you're going to pay a premium for it.
Correct. And that's the whole play. It's like the value play is something you're willing to commit to if you're getting at a lower value, therefore it has a higher upside if you know what you're doing and you're willing to put in the effort.
Exactly. So it's like I was here until 10 o'clock last night. So I do multiple things, as you know,
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah.
I tell everyone it's like I do as little as possible, which is the furthest thing from the truth.
That's true.
So count on 12-hour days.
Very good, very good. Hey, Steven, thank you so much for your time and effort. Everybody, like always, hopefully you found this enjoyable, informative. If there's a certain topic or individual or you'd like to be on this episode, please let me know. I'd love to have you on my LinkedIn post. You can also subscribe to this channel on YouTube, and you'll also find the links here at Twitter. Until next time, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.